Hey everyone, Cameron Tait here for Outdoor Canada's Wild Cuisine. So today's dish is all about venison. I think we all know how to cook back straps and cooking really nice tender cuts. I'm going to show you how to take a tougher cut from, say, a shoulder or part of the leg and make it into the most flavorful, tender piece of meat that you ever have seen. So this is from the leg over here, and we're going to pair it with some nice smoky bacon. Got some root vegetables, we've got a poblano pepper, and we've got some garlic, tomato, wine, and barbecue sauce. What we're going to do is we're going to braise this in a Dutch oven. So a Dutch oven is a very, very heavy cast iron pot, and we're going to cook it with a lid, and it takes about 3 hours, but I tell you, it is amazing. Let's get started. Alright, so we have two different kinds of muscles. Both are from the leg. And one of them is an inside round, it's a little bit thicker, and then the other one is an outside and it's flatter. Let's take a look at the sinew or the silver skin here. So this silver skin, it has to come off. Use a thin knife, and what you want to do is just go underneath it slightly and then towards you. And the silver skin does not break down when you're cooking it. So you want to make sure to remove it all. There's a little vessel here. Any blood spots, you want to remove that as well. Trim this off on both sides. And a little bit over here. Okay, the back side is okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little knife like this one here, and we're going to make 8 incisions across the top. So you can go about ½ an inch in, like this. 5, 6, and then 2 in the middle. And we're going to take the clove of garlic and cut them in half. And we're going to take these and we're going to push them inside. So once we have all of this done, what we're going to do is go on to the next step, and we're going to wrap it all in bacon. Okay, so we've got all of the garlic inserted into the muscle here, and I'm going to show you the seasoning. So I like a nice kind of a smoky chipotle chili pepper. That's really great with this dish one here, and it goes good with the bacon. And you just want to sprinkle it on both sides, and then we're going to season it with salt. This is a kosher salt, my favorite. Flip it over, do it on both sides here. So now what we're going to do is, because this is a very lean meat, you want to make sure to have a little bit more fat introduced into it. So we've got some smoked bacon. And a bacon, when you put it on the outside like this, it's called barding. Barding is when you wrap something over, and larding is actually when you insert it. So a nice thick cut bacon, and this is just going to add tons of flavor. So take a look. What we're going to do is just slightly overlap the bacon here. And if there's longer bacon, you can it'll wrap a little bit more underneath, or you can kind of stretch it. And there's 6 slices, slightly overlapped like this. And so what you do is you just sort of tuck this underneath, like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. All it's doing is it's basically having all the fat. As this one cooks in the Dutch oven, the fat will melt down and keep it really moist. Off to the next step. Okay, so now we've got our bacon wrapped venison, and we're going to get our vegetables all ready. So you take 1 whole onion, and what I do is I cut it into thirds. So it's a rather thick slice like this, but when you cook this, it's going to cook down, and it's going to be full of flavor because the roast is going to be on top of that. Okay, so we put those in the bottom, and we take our carrots. They're about 1 inch thick. If they're really, really small, after about 3 hours, they're just going to dissolve, and you won't even see them. So we're going to put all the carrots in, and then we're going to take our venison, and we're going to put it right on top like that. Okay, and then we're going to take all of our ingredients, all our liquid ingredients. So we've got our red wine, and we've got our tomato paste. You can use like a tomato sauce, but something that has a little bit more thickness and not so much water. in it. And then we've got our balsamic vinegar and our Liam Perrins and our barbecue sauce. This will give it a really nice smoky flavor. And then we're going to take our beef stock, and the trick with this one here is you want to make sure that the stock and the flavorings are over top of the roast, because if they're not, it won't cook properly. Okay, and then we're going to take our poblano, or you can use an ancho pepper which is dried, and we're going to just push it right down in here. And there you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this in the oven. It'll take you know, a couple hours, 2-3 hours depending on the size of the roast. And let's wait for the next step. Alright, so it's been around 3 hours cooking nice and slow at 300 degrees in the oven. And we've cooked it in this Dutch oven here with the lid on it. We just let it rest a little bit for about 15 minutes, and we've got all the carrots and the onions that we can put in here like this, and we'll pour the juice over top. I've left the poblano pepper whole. You can just sort of break that apart. And with the sauce, we've paired it with a Trias Cabernet Franc, and this is an unbelievable dish. It is super tender and tasty. Cheers until next time.